Welcome back to our channel, where we bring you the latest updates and inside stories from the lives of Sheikh Hamdan and his family. If you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure to do so you don't miss any of our exclusive videos. And if you haven't watched our last video, I highly recommend you check that out first to get the complete backstory leading to today's dramatic developments. In our previous video, we covered a highly emotional meeting between Sheikh Hamdan's current wife, Sheikha Thani, and his soon-to-be second wife, Shamma al-Falasi. After learning about Sheikh Hamdan's plans to marry Shamma, Thani was devastated. She cried for days, drowning in anxiety and heartbreak. In a desperate attempt to protect her marriage, she arranged a private meeting with Shamma, hoping to find a solution, or at least closure. The meeting was tense. Thani, struggling to keep her family intact, offered Shamma a staggering $10 million to walk away from the relationship. Shamma, composed and confident, declined without hesitation. She made it clear that her intentions weren't based on money. The meeting ended unresolved. Thani left heartbroken, and Shamma was left contemplating the emotional chaos surrounding the royal family. At the time, Sheikh Hamdan was in a vacation, unaware of the confrontation. Upon his return, Shamma informed him of the incident, detailing Thani's offer and plea. Furious and disappointed, Hamdan summoned Thani immediately. What followed was a heated confrontation. Known for his calm demeanor, Hamdan's raised voice shook the palace. Thani, in tears, tried to explain that her actions came from fear, not jealousy. She said she only wanted to protect her children and preserve their family, but Hamdan, deeply hurt, refused to accept her reasoning. The trust between them had been damaged. Crushed, Thani retreated to her quarters, haunted by Hamdan's anger. For the first time, she feared their marriage might truly end. In desperation, she called Sheikh Mohammed, Hamdan's father, and asked for an urgent meeting. Within minutes, she was on her way to Zabeel Palace. There, she was ushered into Sheikh Mohammed's private chambers. She poured her heart out, describing her emotional turmoil, her meeting with Shamma, and her inability to accept the impending marriage. She asked why he had allowed it. Sheikh Mohammed listened calmly, then explained. Shamma belonged to a noble and influential family, and this union was meant to strengthen the royal bloodline. The decision wasn't about replacing Thani, it was about securing the family's legacy. His words made Thani feel even more defeated. Shamma's background was impeccable. How could she ever compete with that? Tears streamed down her face. She felt small and dispensable. Seeing her pain, Sheikh Mohammed leaned forward and gently reassured her. He promised that no matter what happened, he would never allow Hamdan to divorce her. She would always be part of the royal family, protected, honored, and included. Shamma's arrival wouldn't diminish her place. For the first time in weeks, hope returned to Thani's eyes. She thanked Sheikh Mohammed sincerely and left the palace with her head held high. When she returned, there was a visible change. Her steps were steadier, her expression calm. The palace staff noticed the shift, and so did Sheikh Hamdan. Her sudden composure unsettled him. He couldn't help but wonder what had happened in his absence. Why was she suddenly so at peace? In the midst of all this royal tension, Sheikh Hamdan decided to shift his focus. He turned his attention to something that brought him joy: his children. His first two children, Sheikha and Rashid, from a previous relationship, were currently staying in his second palace. Their mother was no longer present in their lives, and Sheikh Hamdan always made it a priority to make them feel loved and cared for. He thought of Shamma. The kids adored her. She had a natural warmth and innocence that made her an instant favorite. He called her and shared his idea. He wanted to bring her to the second palace to spend time with the children. It would be a day of laughter, bonding, and family joy. Shamma was delighted. She loved the children too, especially little Rashid, who had a deep emotional bond with her. She quickly packed her things and made her way to the second palace. When Sheikh Hamdan and Shamma arrived, Sheikha and Rashid were just getting home from school. The moment they saw Shamma, their faces lit up. They ran to hug her, laughing and chatting non-stop. The rest of the day was filled with wholesome activities. They made homemade ice cream together, using fresh ingredients from the palace kitchens. The laughter that echoed through the palace was heartwarming. Later, they painted together, Sheikha showing off her creativity, and Rashid eagerly splashing colors onto his canvas. For a few hours, it felt like nothing in the world could go wrong. It was a simple, magical day. Even Sheikh Hamdan, often weighed down by responsibilities, allowed himself to laugh freely. As the evening set in, Sheikh Hamdan decided to return to the first palace to attend to some pressing matters, but he left Shamma behind at the second palace with the children. The kids didn't want her to leave. Rashid, especially, begged her to sleep in the kids' room. Shamma smiled and agreed. That night, Shamma told bedtime stories to Rashid and Sheikha. The room was dimly lit, filled with the quiet rustling of sheets and the soft sound of her voice weaving tales of adventure, bravery, and love. Rashid clung to her like a little brother, and Sheikha watched her with admiration. They weren't just bonding with a future stepmother, they were forming a deep friendship. Shamma wasn't a replacement for their mother. She was something unique, young enough to be their friend, old enough to guide them gently. Her love was pure, untainted by the politics of the palace. So that's where our story concludes for today. This chapter in Sheikh Hamdan's life reflects the emotional complexity of being a royal, torn between tradition, love, and duty. It's a reminder that behind the luxury and power, there are very real emotions, decisions, and consequences. Stay tuned for our next video, where we'll bring you more details about how Sheikh Hamdan navigates the tension between his current wife and his fiancée, how Sheikh Mohammed continues to shape family dynamics behind the scenes, and what lies ahead for Shamma as she becomes a central figure in the royal family. If you found this video engaging, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you won't miss any future updates. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.